Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, I'm joined by Baker. Evening, mate. How are things going today?
Bit grumpy. A bit grumpy.
You just like a bit like, whatever.
Well, yeah.
This is what happens.
I don't know. I felt like I was grumpy before the game week started. In fact, I was grumpy last night, which is weird. I shouldn't have been grumpy because I had Haaland. But I was grumpy because everyone was like, you don't. The oldest thing in football is if you're 2-0 up, you don't start texting your mates and saying, we've beat you. You don't do that. But for some reason, FPL Twitter, everyone does it the second they've got any kind of advantage. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, they're like, when Haaland gets a hat trick, everyone's like, yeah, if you haven't got Haaland, you're the worst player on earth. You are the worst. What are you doing playing this game? You've wildcarded with no Haaland. Like, what are you doing? And you're like, mate, they're captains. Have you got Salah? I haven't got Salah. Like, fine. If you've got Salah and Haaland, crack on, get involved. But the majority of these people just had Haaland. And I was like, don't do it until the other person's played. Just sit on it. Just sit on it. Just wait. But no, we can't help ourselves. We have to get in and we have to tell people they're the worst at this game. Don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I saw people just taking apart Tom Dollamore, who's like one of the best players this game's ever had, like literally Hall of Fame, because he took, Haaland out on wildcard. Like, what's he doing? Listening to that robot again. Just look at his team. He's got Eze to come today. He's got Salah. He's got Palmer. He's got all the players. He had Bumo. Like, it was almost like nobody even acknowledged the fact that Bumo
had even existed. Yeah.
And let's just leave it for a little bit. Pile in at 6:30. Because you know what's going to happen now. Guess what?
There's I don't even know where to go from there. People just enjoy thinking they're right, or being right.
Yeah, but be right. Wait till you're right, at least.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. No one ever makes a bet and has does an accumulator and has 5 wins out of 6. No one sits there until the 6th one happens. Everyone always goes, I've got 5, I just need 1, and all this sort of stuff. It's just human nature, just to say that all the good stuff that's already happened to you, this is what I've got.
No issue with good stuff. Like, so everyone like doing a dance because they've got Haaland cap. Fine, be happy for goodness. But it wasn't happy for goodness. It was let's go kick Andy Martin again. Let's go kick anyone who's played their wild card this week without it. It was lynch mob.
This is
that bit. I'm like,
this is the world now, mate. This is the world. This is what happens. This is what people do.
Yeah, that's the bit where I'm like, it's not it's not my circus. I don't need to get involved in it, but I can't help it. I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is everyone so nasty to everyone?
Fair enough. I don't even know where to ask you about like the good stuff that happened this week. Should we just talk about golf for like a little bit?
Yeah, we can talk about golf if you want.
Golf for a little bit. I did play this morning, and I asked some people to guess what my score was. I don't know whether you saw that.
I did guess.
But did you guess? I didn't even see your guess.
I didn't guess. No.
Oh, right, cool.
I didn't
guess. Yeah, so
I did see it.
Yeah, so I'd shot like 91 the last time I played round there. Had an absolute horror show at the start of the year. And then and shot 81 today. So much improved. So shout out to Corf,
Great.
Shout out to Discomfort, Kieran, and shout out to Greg Watson, because the 3 of you got it correct. Shot 81. So it's best round of the year for me. So I'm pretty stoked about that, to be fair. It's been a tough old year. But and then Tottenham ruined it, basically. And then Salah ruined it as well, which didn't.
Neither of us have broke 80 this year.
Challenge.
Still time.
There's time. I've got like 2 rounds left, mate. And that's it. I'm done.
To be fair. Yeah, but you can still do it in winter. You're good enough. I can only do it when the ball runs far.
Yeah, but I don't go out.
I've got about a month.
I don't go out in winter.
I'm not going to do it.
This is not. There's no winter golf up here for me, mate.
Yeah,
the clubs go in 1st of October. They're done forever. Well, for 6 months.
Right, football.
We're already been shouted at. FPL what time, says Luis. Right now, mate. Right now. Yeah, interesting game week. Really interesting game week. Revelation in the fact that good players are good and they score points, and sometimes the bad players or the not so good players don't score points. And Bruno continues to avoid points as well. That's also a thing, which is bugging me to the point where I'm like, I feel like I want to get him out, but it's like Southampton next.
Yeah, it's a tough game on it, isn't it? Do you, on reflection, because what else? This is game week reaction. This is what we're here to do. Did we overcomplicate it? Like, have we? Because if you've got Salah and Haaland, like we've got some lovely people. Andy Max in the chat, 110 points. Hibbo, same. Like wonderful people. I feel like the narrative very much went from game opened. What can you get? Oh, now I have Salah, then I have Haaland, then both are bad.
Yeah.
Realistically, the first person I saw that was like, maybe it's not so bad, was Praz. And he kind of will tell you, he kind of lucked into that situation because that's not where he was going. He was wildcard for Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob were injured. He went away and thought about it. And by that time, like the narrative had really gone away from it. So that's one of the like fair plays. Like he was not on it and then went to it like very, very late. But yeah, did we overthink it? That
both of them have got Ipswich in the first 2 weeks, and then they've got good fixtures.
And we're rested.
Rested, completely rested. Yeah, and all other narratives. All other narratives
so
you want
players,
to put together. Yeah,
but this they weren't.
True. Yeah. I mean, like the standout obviously is Watkins for that, isn't it? Like we're just looking at Watkins, thinking like he keeps getting chances, but he just doesn't look sharp at the same time, and just like, is he going to score some points? He looks tired. Foden, we still haven't seen him. Rodri, we haven't seen him yet. You know, there's all these players that. In fact, is there someone that started particularly hot? I mean, like Arsenal required Saka to come in. He started all right. To be fair, out of all of them.
He started all right.
Yeah, so let's. So there's a couple of things. So there's a poll. I wouldn't mind if everyone just votes on the poll. So it's just like, which is the better FPL team name? I'll tell you all about why I've asked that in a bit. There's 88 votes. There's 213 people. So can you just vote on that poll, please? It is very, very important. We'll find out.
Very important, I imagine.
Very important. So let's have a look at our scores for the week. Let's go there. Boom. I think that should be right. And yeah, I'll let you begin, mate. You're the lead man this week.
I mean, you're normally happy with us. Like you normally come on well happy if you've had a 69, but not grumpy on me. But yeah, it's that's where it is, isn't it? Haaland obviously 34 points with the cat. Other than that, yeah. Isak, obviously. the best other score I got was Isak, which is the goal I definitely didn't want today. But yeah, series of blanks, really. Over the moon with a Henderson 4-pointer. Robinson with a 4-pointer, but Porro, Gabriel, Gordon, Rogers, Jota, Muniz all disappoint. In a week where loads and loads of players that are quite popular scored big ones. But the biggie, if you think about it from like, if you go onto live FPL and you start looking at the players that hurt you, it always hurts, and it hurts exceptionally at the start of a season if someone like hits you for like -2 on their effective points against you. But Mohamed Salah's 10 points expected against you.
Yeah, it's pain.
10 points expected against you. Yeah, like, and that's what I say about the overcomplicated it. Whatever it was, 140% for me had Haaland and 60% had Salah. Like, you're not gaining if you don't have both at the moment.
This is true.
And next week's fixture for both of them It's sensational.
It is wildly good. Yeah, Brentford and is it Forest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'll finish up with spoiler alert. Just before we start this, literally as the countdown for the stream was coming in, I transferred Saka to Salah.
Oh, did you?
Done.
Oh, we're
We've
just
got the money.
assuming. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, fair.
Got the money. Money's sitting there. I've done Saka to Salah because ultimately, the only way I'm not wildcarding is because I want to have both of them, and I don't know whether I would have both of them on wildcard if I was wildcarding after 4. If anything now goes wrong, I'm definitely wildcarding anyway. So
Yeah.
because it's teetering. And I don't think my team lasts till 6. I'm quite okay with it in 4, but I don't like it past that. So on to you.
Fair enough. So yeah, slight fall from grace from last week, but we're still going okay. 59 points this week, and just like you, a sea of blanks absolutely everywhere. I got a clean from Trent. I got 34 from Haaland. And then I got 1s and 2s, apart from Robinson's 4-pointer, basically. And Jota managed to sneak a clean sheet before he got subbed off. I've got João Pedro on the bench. So actually, for people that are listening rather than watching, so I've got Raya in goal, Trent, Robinson, Gabriel 2 points, Porro 1 point. Got Gibbs White 1 point, thanks. Gordon 2, Bruno 2 again, Jota 3, Smith Rowe 2, and then Haaland 34. João Pedro's 8 points on the bench, and that's me at the moment. I'm very much teetering on a wild card at the moment as well. It's just if I want to get to Salah, it has to happen. Because the only way I can get out of it is to sell Haaland, and that's the only way I can really get up to him, unless I wild card. So if I'm almost in a weird situation opposite to you, whereas if like you're saying the only way you're going to wild card is if you only keep one, is I'm probably only going to wild card if I'm going to get both. Or if I'm going to keep Haaland, then I'm not going to, I'm obviously not going to wild card. But Salah, can I cover Salah with like a defensive transfer? Probably not. Have I got the wrong 7.5 million Liverpool midfielder? We're going to talk about that. Yeah. And then others just don't look fantastic for me for the next couple. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's difficult because there's all sorts of fun players that I want. I'd like some Brighton in midfield. So like Gibbs White to Mitoma looks fun, and yeah, little bits like that. Obviously not feeling good about Porro for next week. Equally Gabriel and Raya for next week, and I spoke on Thursday about how I don't think that Raya is the right pick for wild card for now or for last week, to be honest, just because of all the away fixtures at the big teams. I think you can just get better. You can just do better in the first half of the season. Or can you? I don't even know. Can you? I mean, because you can't legislate for Declan Rice doing what he did and them going down to 10 men. But we can talk about that as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I'm
sure we're going to be asked for our objective, unbiased opinion on that on that scenario.
Yeah, I feel pretty. I mean, just from an FPL perspective, obviously, game week 1, the red card against double Newcastle defence with Isak captain hurts.
Yeah,
and then from an FPL perspective, at 1-0 up and Saka just genuinely just destroying Hinchelwood to oblivion, and then obviously the Rice thing. So it's neither of those. When you've got like literally the only 2 double uppers in my team have been absolutely hammered in pretty good fixtures. It's not been ideal, but hey, them's the breaks. One thing I was going to actually say, just looking at the team, because obviously you've got Bruno in it, and just in general, 3 game weeks in, how many pens do you think have happened?
Oh wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, like I was just thinking this earlier. I was like,
Haaland?
Let's remember the pens.
Haaland's
against Ipswich.
I can't remember any others.
And Paqueta.
Oh, Paqueta last week.
For West Ham Villa.
Is that it?
First game week 1. 1 in game week 1. 1 in game week 2. 0 game week 3.
Is that it? Wow.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. It is weird.
It's, I mean, we put a lot of reliance on penalty takers, and obviously, they will get you points because mostly the people that take pens are also pretty good at striking the ball. But the free points from pens isn't manifesting itself in the ways that we might have expected it to.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Interesting. Okay, so that's where we are. So ranks are whatever at this point. Who cares? Unless we were in the top 10k and then we shout about it.
I'd care if I was like take a naught off the end, and I'd
exactly.
care.
Yeah. That's just have to do it that way around. So for everyone who voted, 136 of you, thank you for voting. Los Poro Hermanos is the better team name, apparently. So
yeah.
But that's probably because Tottenham Hotspur is just like a anything anti-Spurs, right? That's all. Sorry, man.
Yeah, people definitely like Breaking Bad more than they like Tottenham, so that wins that one.
So on to the league updates. And looking at the public league, so Brett Wyndham, triple captain this week on Haaland. Another 51 pointer. Why the hell not? So is top with 285 points. Saka Spuds, Randeep Grawal, also, well, he's second, I guess, on transfers, 285. And then Kamal Williams with hashtag 42 boys, Palmer cap, and had his wild card. So that Palmer cap was what, 5 points, 6 points, doubled. So not fantastic for Palmer, but obviously the rest of his team is looking fantastic. And honourable mentions to everyone else on that list. And then if you move over to the Discord League, you will see top is Los Poro Hermanos and Tottenham Hotspur. Joint top. And because it's the end of the month, there is a manager of the month poker chip for the Discord guys. And so the way we did it last year was we asked in a poll, like which was the better, on Twitter, we asked which was the better team name. And Mark actually lost that poll, but he won this one. So what a Mark. Top on the image and top for the month. So I will get in touch with you and I'll send you that poker chip. Shout out to Jock, to Connor in third, Sam James fourth, and Nick Matmula in fifth, and then myself and others down to 10th. All doing really, really well at the moment. So well done to all of you. If you want to join the mini league, then the public one is mgork2. And if you want to join the other one, I'll tell you about that in just a second. But if you're here and you do enjoy the content that we're putting together, do drop a like on the video. And if you want to see more from us, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening on podcast and again, you enjoy what we're doing, then drop a little rating. 5 stars would be wonderful and would be forever grateful. And that's all we really ask. However, if you do want to support us some more, then there is Patreon. So patreon.com/above average FPL. For those of you, I've seen this, people that actually watch us on a TV, which is mental. So if you're watching on a TV, there's a big old QR code now that you can scan if you really want to go and join us, basically. And and thank you to all those that have joined us in the last month. So shout out to a bunch of you. So Matt Bird, to Jasper Dunning, Ollie Storas, Chris Musson, Ian Rogers, Matthew Wilkins, Bob Fox, Paul Smith, and Ben Moxham all joined us in August. So thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the Discord. For most of you that are in there, couple of you not in there, so if you want to join up, then if you're having trouble getting into the Discord, just drop me a message and we'll get you sorted on that. I feel like that's admin done. Always, not quite. Always have to say thank you to Crypto Block Dan, who's out in Frankfurt or something like that, doing his gaming stuff.
Worldwide tour of crypto and
gaming
stuff.
What a job! What a job! So that's where we are. So thank you again, as always, to everyone who's here with us on the live stream as well, and let us know how you got on this week. Basically, best we start with today. Boom. Manchester United 0, Liverpool 3. A game that.
Are you making that thumbs up sign?
What thumbs up sign?
In the corner of my screen, it's got a thumbs up sign. Nice.
No. I don't know where that's coming from, mate.
Yeah, like
Harry when Harry did it
on Burning Questions. It happened on my screen, but I don't think it happened on the stream.
Didn't happen on the stream.
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I have no idea
right.
what's going on right now.
Yeah, there
I'm
was a
gonna
big
have a.
thumb on my screen. I didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, oh man, did you by any chance catch Slot's interview after the game?
I did not. No.
He's so good. He talks so good. Like, and I mean, like, I made some notes, last week on the Man United game, and the one thing I really noticed was that Brighton was so good at beating the press, playing out from the back, and that Man United was so bad trying to do it that they have to just hope or they get caught. And I was like, God, if they try that against Liverpool, that would be absolutely terrible.
Oh, you mean like
And
the Casemiro pass? Like,
and then they just kept doing it. And I was
that
like,
one in
why didn't
particular.
I probably should have thought more about that. Wrote it down,
Yeah.
forgot about it. But geez, like I thought the first 15 minutes, Man United, I thought the crowd were loud. I thought they came out. I thought they showed, really good intensity of just trying to get around the wings. It all sounded and looked really good. But it was just like a bit like when we probably talk about our own team a bit later. You're like, just wait for them to do something stupid and it's gonna happen. And it looked like if anyone was going to do it, it's Casemiro. Just before there was a weird thing where he was down on the side and he sort of like tried to kick it and he kicked it about a foot. It was like he'd forgotten how to play football. And I was like, it's not ideal. And then they just kept doing it. And they just kept taking advantage of it, and they talked really well of it. I do wonder about, obviously, the bad thing for me and you as Jota owners is that he was nowhere near the positions where we'd want him to be compared to Diaz and Mo. But when you listen to what Slot said, I do wonder where that was a lot tactical for this game. So he was pretty clear that the game was use those central players, the midfield three, and them to try and press through the middle, win the ball over with this set game of get the ball wide
Yeah.
to Mo and Diaz straight away. You don't normally beat the press and give it to the centre forward, do you? You give it to those. So that might not, be like just, oops, I better go straight Jota to Diaz if that's what you're looking to do. But I guess just in general, Diaz just looks so on it, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I think Jota, as you say, he was not quite in the positions that we wanted him to be in, as well as he was basically acting as a decoy to move out the way for Diaz to be available a lot of the time, and that that came up in the second goal in particular, where Diaz takes up the central position, and Jota's out left side. Only one shot from Jota today, which going to get 65 minutes, but
well, that's also important.
What, that he gets 65 minutes, or that he gets one shot?
That he only ever gets 65 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is when you've got a player that's not on set pieces, and he's only getting 65 or 30. We talk about it all the time, 65 or 30. That's your game.
Yeah.
You need him to have 3-4 shots in that thing to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
One's not going to cut it around here.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't feel great about having Jota. Do I feel like I need to double up on Liverpool attack? I don't know. Do you feel nervous without having, or you will have?
Yeah. I felt I wildcarded. Yeah,
This is.
I feel very nervous about the next 2 weeks. I would have about not having Mo. I'd feel really nervous about it. In fact, the next 3 weeks, I would
sure.
feel pretty nervous about it. And would I want Diaz too? Yes, I think I would. What I think it's very hard not to. I don't know what the deal is on any kind of international travel for him. Whether that makes it any worse for coming back. We don't know what happens around this Liverpool attack once they start playing Europe. but I feel like I still trust Diaz more than I would do Jota for minutes. I feel like, he took Diaz off today because one, the game was 3-0, and two, he already had a brace, so he's not going to be unhappy. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd left him on a little bit longer, and I think all these things that we're seeing at the moment, like the 60, 65 minutes, they might get a bit more increased from game week 5 once you start getting to Europe, because you might see that there's more rotation in terms of starts.
Yeah.
But the players that play for a little bit longer. At the moment, he's really trying to get as much energy into them as possible. But yeah, Diaz, I think he'd be the one. If you were on wildcard, yeah, I'd really struggle not to go in on it.
I think I'd much rather just get Salah and then get Trent and Robbo at the moment, because he's also doing it at the back. Liverpool haven't conceded a goal yet. They haven't looked. I mean, right, I'm going to throw game state at this one, right? Because you see their chances. If you get to 3-0, by the time it's 3-0, Liverpool have United at home have created about 0.15 xg.
Yeah.
And then game state says Xerxes has a couple of chances, Martinez has a chance, and it's a little bit different. Substitutions are made, etc.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely from 60 minutes onwards, both if you look at, say, threat tables and XG tables, that's where it was. I would say like it was a very even first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They were very close to making good chances. But they did not. But I would put so much more of the reason they didn't onto the fact that Xerxes didn't
do anything.
Well, he did. That was the problem. He was always in the wrong position, almost, type things, or isn't really. He's not. He wasn't really brought in to lead the line as like this, like gun shooting number 9. That's not really how he plays. But he was being asked to do that job. And if Haaland was pushing those chances or in those positions, I think it would have been better. There was a few times I felt like he made really poor decisions in that they just don't use Garnacho enough. That's the ultimate thing of, if they use Garnacho in the right way a lot of times, then I think they would have done much better. But I do think is that Liverpool were still able to be got at, and I felt that way in each of the games. But ultimately, they do still have the best keeper in the world in Alisson. They do still have really good players in their defenders who can make really good blocks at the right time and really good, interceptions and tackles when they need to. They're really good defense.
My mind goes back to that Ipswich game and just thinking like the recovery, the pace and the recovery seems to be just better. Previously, like last season, when players like Trent would find himself in the wrong position, and you'd almost certainly have a run on goal. And I feel like you're not getting runs on goal now because your likes of Van Dijk is a little bit more conservative. Konate's aggressively getting back, and Trent's better, and Robbo's in a better position to start with.
Gravenberch is doing
Gravenberch is just dictating and
really good job.
Just creating a barrier.
Big deal. I do like the Mo, Robbo, Trent play, because also I think that you potentially do Robbo for 2 weeks and go to Gabriel in 6.
Yeah.
If you're wild card and you were like, or you've got no issues, or you're these people that've got all these transfers rolled and you've had no pains, and you're sitting there with a player like, for example, Porro, for example, Gabriel, and you've got the money. Like, I think the Robbo play is definitely a good one, but they're scoring good amount of goals, and Diaz is scoring a good amount of points, and their next 2 games are prime home games, and I'd expect him to play both. And would I be surprised if he did another couple of braces? Like, ultimately, that's where the points are going. He's got 32 points in 3 games.
To be fair, he could be. And if people don't want to do it now, he could be a really good make way for Bumo. Like
Yeah.
really, really good. If you get him in that,
Really good, mate.
like he's just perfect. So you just move off him in 6, and then away you go with Bumo, and just enjoy all the fun. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Any closing remarks on this one?
Well, Man United, Bruno. What do you do when he's got Southampton?
Oh, it's just so difficult. He didn't do anything really. No key passes. Only a couple of crosses and one shot today. I mean, he has got like 2.1 XGI season to date, which is the same as Salah, just for reference, and has no returns. I don't know. Southampton are bad.
Yes.
So this is the problem. They're just
Southampton
bad.
can very happily play you into form, like with Bruno and yeah. Adam Stevo in the chat says that Colombia play Tuesday and Liverpool play the Saturday game. Should be fine.
Okay. Should be fine then.
Should be fine, but hey, Gakpo's pretty good if he wants to play him on the left.
Yeah, it's true. He brought Nunez in today as well.
Yep. They're all there. And obviously Darwin's got a 5-game international ban.
Yeah, exactly. So he's around. He's
yeah, I mean that's not
rested.
good for Jota either.
No, that's true. That is true. That is very true. Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, then let's move. We talked about Boomer. Let's move to Brentford, Southampton. We can go there.
Yeah.
Because he's the other man on the thumbnail. Yeah. It just turns up in the right space at the right time, and I just, again, he's another one of those. It's another game where he just like you don't really want to watch him, and then suddenly he just turns up and does the thing. And it's always going to be the first goal was always going to be a shot that deflects off the post, and it's just there.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing from Brentford team, which is kind of I like it in that Thomas Frank always is a good manager, looking for good solutions, doing all the right stuff, and what he is doing brilliantly there is that press. They will practice. I know obviously they can't practice. It comes off a post and comes to him and does all that stuff. But ultimately, they're looking for high turnovers. Yeah. They're looking to put the pressure on. Wissa, I feel like Wissa's better at it than Tony would be, in that sense, in that he's on it. Bumo's on it, whichever plays the left, because it's changed a little bit, whether it's Lewis Potters or Sharda, whoever it is that's out there. But they know what they're doing. They're well organised. Norgard and who's Jensen in the middle, just sit there. So it's like, where are the goals going to come from? They're just going to come from those three, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all geared towards the big three at the front.
Yeah, who else is going to score goals for them? Damsgaard isn't really a goal scorer. Like if he plays, like everything is just around. Chase hard, get things into those ones. Just well, just great. And as much as if you like you said, Diaz and Bumo and all that stuff, there's an argument there, isn't there? You could have Diaz for a couple of weeks and go to Bumo,
yeah,
or you could have Bumo and then just say have Robbo instead of like a Gabriel or a Porro, for example. I know the fixtures aren't great, but like Man City do find ways of conceding. Like they were so open. We'll go to them next, but they were so open. It was like they were trying to play basketball with it. With a lot of times, I was like, well, I can still see Bumo scoring next week. I'd start him if I had him.
You'd start him ahead of Brighton players next week, would you?
Well, I'd find ways that I was starting both.
Okay.
Find ways that I'm starting both. I think that's where it leans on wildcard. We'll have some wildcard chat in the week.
We will.
But potentially is like I think one of the only ways if you want to be like a Salah and Haaland is you might have to go 3-5-2.
And just burn the spot burn the spot up
burn
top.
the spot. Burn the spot.
But then yeah, I guess. But then that your second striker is going to have to, if you are going Haaland, your second striker is going to have to be a 5.56 million anyway.
It's going to be João Pedro, mate. There's
Well, there you
nobody
go.
in the world that's not having João Pedro as the second striker.
Well, there you go. So it's not going to be Wissa. We go João Pedro to Wissa if you wanted. Maybe
You can go that after.
you can do that after, because you might have extra transfers to do so.
You may do. You may do.
What do we have to make of Southampton here? Do we make anything of it? I mean,
Yeah, keep targeting.
keep targeting them. Obviously, I mean, they did have a. I mean, I don't know which one it was. Is the? I don't even think it's here. Is it? Didn't Armstrong have a huge chance at the start of the? I thought Armstrong had a huge chance. Did it hit his back leg so it didn't count? He had a huge chance. He had a huge chance from about 6 yards out that he all basically missed. I don't think he got contact on it.
Oh, things I can remember, that was not in the things that I can.
There was definitely one in there.
Yeah.
But I think it was just before half time, and I think that's why he got pulled, to be honest.
Well, he's gone. You know, Armstrong's a problem.
As an option. Yeah, completely.
He's a problem.
But like, yeah, it's mad that like 12 shots in between the three of them, 10 of them coming from Boomer and Wissa.
They're the ones. It's obvious. It's obvious where to go. They're really obvious. Boomer, Wissa. Whether you double up, whether the runs, you know, it's very difficult to double up over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to generate 2.7 xG every week. So, you know, how much of the pie do you want there? I guess whenever they score, you feel like they're going to be involved.
Yeah.
But you probably need 1.5 to 2 xG consistently for them to be really a consideration as a double up.
Yeah, I think
and good fixtures, obviously.
Boomer's just fine, though, isn't it?
Good fixtures.
As soon as you get a notification that Brentford has scored, you know what's coming.
Oh God, it was so inevitable,
so obvious. I mean, when that third one went, you were like, "Oh God, oh God." I mean, those Adam weren't, oh God, but for us it didn't. You were, oh God, and it was, you know, it was a pleasant surprise that no Boomer involved, but of course it was Wissa instead. Anyway, talking of guaranteed involvement, let's go speak about Haaland.
Lucky Haaland, as always.
Lucky Haaland.
I can't get off this narrative that he gets lucky when, like, he's just one of the most prolific hat-trick scorers since he started playing football at professional level. He's overperformed everything he's done. 11FI sent out a fantastic tweet earlier on today that said that every hat-trick in the history of football has overperformed its XG in that particular game. Like, when you get a hat-trick, you overperform. That's what happens.
That is what
and he's really good at it. He's really good at it.
And all the people that get them, that's what they say. You know what I mean? You say about Kane, they say about Haaland. But this guy really says it. But I think I sometimes when people score hat-tricks, it's like, oh, they scored the first one, then they got the courage to get, you know, or the confidence to get the second one and the third one. This one it doesn't feel like that watching Haaland. It feels like just
he's just notching another one off. It feels
it's just notching another one off. Yep, that's a goal.
Tick.
Yep, that's a goal. I've got that. Yeah, that's a goal. Like
there's so many positions he gets into where you feel like there is you feel like there is just an inevitability.
There is, but that second half he was patient. Like he went 30 minutes with no chances at all in that second half.
Basically no touches.
Yeah, no touches, not in it, not there. But he's like, my role is this, and if you give me that chance, I'll do that. The finish for the third, and I was unlucky not to get that late fourth.
The one that hit Fabianski's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's wide
through the legs, but it's gone through the legs and come out.
Yeah.
Like he's still how clinical the finishes have been this season. They've really surprised me. You know, he is a player that finishes in line with his XG. So people will say stuff like, yeah, well, he's a like super finisher, so elite finishers it doesn't count. But technically, he's not in elite finishing territory. He finishes about in line with his XG in general. But it feels like when I'm watching him this season, if you had to make a bet, if I had to make a bet right now, whether it'll be over or under his XG, I definitely think he's going to overperform his XG. You can that second goal when he hammers it, you're like, oh,
the touch is the thing that gives him that second goal, because the touch is so good that he can just open his legs. I mean, I'll disagree with you on the XG thing. I mean, he has about 135 goals from 110 XG. I was chatting with someone.
I think at City, I think someone said that at City though it's
at
level.
City. Oh, okay, fair enough. So, but yeah, it's about 135 from about 110 XG in total across his career, and he has outperformed it every single season. He hasn't had a season behind it. So yeah, it's just really hard to find a world where we take him out, and I understand the restrictions you get in budget elsewhere, and my team is evident of that this week. But I don't know. I just feel like it's like, do you think he's not going to score against Brentford next week?
No.
Like, do you think he's not?
No, but I guess the question isn't on this is because let's just look at it. It's not like teams without Haaland are doing bad.
No.
Salah has got as many points as Haaland, and he's £2.5 million cheaper. So those teams that have just got Salah, most of them are doing better than the teams that have just got Haaland because they're spending £2.5 million somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it is working. Those teams that are going against it. That's why I was going to get a bit annoyed about saying people sort of suggesting it's stupid to go without him. You can't go without him. But it's bloody scary.
I was going to say, we haven't had a week where one has returned and the other one's blanked yet. That's the thing. There hasn't been that week. And that, I mean, if you talk about people saying getting on their high horse, like that week is going to be toxic as hell.
Oh, God.
Look forward to that one. Look forward to that. That is going to be hell on socials.
Well, week
everywhere.
5 is going to be the fun, isn't it? Obviously, because
they got Arsenal. Yeah.
And are they going 5?
Bournemouth, is it? I think it's Bournemouth.
Is it Bournemouth?
Bournemouth away. Bournemouth at home. No, Bournemouth at home.
Is it at home?
Yeah.
Bournemouth home. Yeah.
Yeah. So it should be that's going to be one.
You know, that's the big boy. But like I say, you can spend the money. Like it's not me. I still think what I would do if I was like, I've got to have one. I still think I would go, and I was wildcarding now. I still think I would go Haaland, and like you said, I'd probably with the Robbo and Trent, I'd probably go Robbo, Trent, Diaz.
I find the problem I've got with going without Haaland is I genuinely think that the striker pool is just completely horrific right now. Like it's João Pedro at 5.5. It's Isak who's ticking along okay. Well, he's got a goal and an assist. And because Solanke's injury, Solanke injuries just ruined everything. It has genuinely ruined everything, because that would have been a really nice front three to have cheap Solanke and Haaland. That really kind of fits. I've still got it right now. So that's the problem that I have with the striker pool, whereas I feel like the midfielder pool has a lot of players that can do really, really well. I mean, you can just go through them. So you got Saka and, Morgan Rogers is an option. Go to Chelsea. You got Palmer and Madueke have done all right so far. Maddison's in there, Son's in there, Salah's obviously there, Jota, Diaz, Gibbs White, Smith Rowe. All these guys are in here scoring points, and there's just lots of them. So I just think there's more variety in midfield. And I think maybe obviously like the numbers are saying the actual outcomes and points are saying that I can see obviously that Salah teams are doing very, very well. Of course they are. But psychologically, I'm still not quite there, and I still think there's more in midfield than up front. So I'd rather put that money up front, and then
I agree.
I don't mind. To be fair, I don't mind with the Haaland, João Pedro dead spot. I don't mind that, I'd almost, in my mind, I think I'd probably have to try and find my way back from João Pedro up to Solanke when I get there.
Yeah.
Maybe his price will drop by then or something. But yeah, maybe that's the way. And Havertz has done okay. No, Havertz has done okay. He's had two good fixtures.
Nico Jackson. Solanke will come back into it. And Isak and Watkins will get better as assets.
Yeah.
They'll get better as assets.
Chris Wood. I can't believe that. Nez has said Chris Wood. Yeah, I've completely ignored Chris Wood. I'm so annoyed about that. That's one pre-season I think I regret. Because the fixtures were there. And the sentiment was there for me.
I mean,
there we go.
Yeah. Where are we going to?
Unfortunately, we're going here.
Oh, God.
Misery.
Newcastle, Tottenham.
Newcastle 2, Tottenham 1. Yep.
Isn't it interesting how Tottenham, it's almost like by us showing XG plots on our things is what you're able to look at this. If somebody has not watched the game, not seen anything, they can look at this and go, right, it's 2-1 Newcastle and they slightly edged the XG. Seems legit. That's how the game worked out.
Yeah.
I actually, so I think there's only been 2 games this season that have not been Man City based where field tilt. So if anyone does know field tilt, basically where the ball is, what part of the field it is. There's only been 2 games this season that were not
in line
not
with the
Man
XG.
City and Ipswich, which were where I've seen such ridiculous field tilts, where they've had over 80%. So if you take, for example, field tilt on the Man United Liverpool game today, it was 51%, 49%, and the 51% was to Man United. Tottenham Leicester. Tottenham had 81%. No, Tottenham Leicester.
Oh, Tottenham Leicester. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Tottenham had 81% field tilt, didn't win the game. And in fact, we're quite lucky to not lose the game by just giving away stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Today, 81.7% field tilt. 81.7% of the game was in Newcastle's territory. 65% possession. But if you give away chunks and you don't do the good stuff, because, and it is unfortunate, isn't it? Like, to not have your main striker, who's always fit, but that's why we bought him, because the other guy is quite unreliable in Richarlison, and guess what? He's out.
He's still injured.
Injured again. And then our backup youngster also did his hamstring in the same week.
Yeah.
So we couldn't really buy anyone when you've already got 3.
And then you lose your key recovery defender.
And then you lose your key recovery defender.
Which doesn't help. And
that's some of the stuff we've talked about, is our centre backs are so unique in their sort of skill sets of what they do. I mean, they fully are like unique skills like that. Talk about like Liam Neeson. That's exactly how Romero and Van der Ven play. And eventually you're going to give stupid things away. But it's pretty dire watching if you're a Newcastle fan watching this game. Up until the point of when you win it.
It feels very Conte-esque. Like this is exactly what we used to watch. This sort of sit in, absorb the pressure, make them make a mistake, and then bang, counter.
I mean, maybe, again, like the Salah and Haaland thing, maybe the World Cup stuff is a real big hangover on some of them, because Bruno Guimaraes in this was terrible. Like, he was getting absolutely steamrolled here. And he's better than any of our centre midfielders. But he was really, really getting overrun. Joe Linton obviously is pretty fresh back as well, and he was getting overrun. And it just felt like their whole midfield couldn't get out. And then Gordon, it's weird him being on the right, like you don't want him there. It just felt really, really sluggish goal from Newcastle, and they couldn't do much with it. It was a big problem. for them. But ultimately, they don't care. They won the game.
They won the game, and to be fair, every time they got the ball forward, you felt like there was going to be potential of a chance to be created. And the thing with Spurs, we were just chatting on WhatsApp and what earlier on, and they created a couple of reasonably sized chances, and when obviously the Barnes one goes in, and I said, can we just stop shooting from 30 yards? And that's all the little staircase. You can see that before the Barnes goal. It's Bissouma from 30 yards. It's Maddison's curling effort. No, that was second half. But yeah, there's a bunch there. It's just all like long shots. Porro shooting. Porro had the most shots out of any defender ever today, or something like that. It was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, 6. He got 0.18 XG or something from 6 shots. Like it's just a complete waste of time. And we all celebrate like it's the best thing that's ever happened if it hits the back of the net. But generally, these things don't go in the back of the net. And then if we want to span back to Brentford quickly, like look at the size of these in chances. And I know it's Southampton and it's at home, but like we need to create bigger chances to have better chances of scoring goals.
Everyone, the narrative for this game was, though, is going to be takes 2 to tango. And Brentford, and the issue that Southampton did was that they tried to go to Brentford and play.
This is true. Yeah.
Newcastle didn't try and play. And we didn't really know what to... And Newcastle did that to us at our place last season, where they were like, we'll rope-a-dope you. We'll let you have the ball. We'll let you let this in because you will do something stupid. And it's still the same thing with Tottenham. That's why we bought Solanke, was that suddenly it was like, oh, well, at least we've got a focal point for when we start doing this stuff. Because the cross after cross today, there's so many crosses and they're not connecting with anyone because there's no one there.
Yeah.
There's no one of any height in the box when we're crossing the ball repeatedly. It was so silly.
I like Son less and less at number 9 when we play in this way.
Yeah, because defenders are clever enough to know that the only ball that we could put in at any point in any game was low.
Yeah.
So therefore, you always get in front of your man.
You
don't get tight to your man. No, if you watch, the defenders never got tight on the player. They played the block.
Yeah.
Whereas if Solanke's in there, potentially the ball goes high. So they've got to get, and then you've got the challenge for it. We just made it really, really easy for them to do that stupid stuff. But hey, Solanke, it sounded like he definitely, almost certainly will be back for the next week. It is obviously North London derby. They don't have Rice. Porro, would I sell him on wildcard or would I keep him in wildcard? I don't know. Because do you think Brentford, what we've just said, do you think Brentford would pinch a goal against us? Yes.
Yes.
Do you think Arsenal will score against us?
Yeah. Yeah, and almost certainly.
And if you're trying to get a team where you've got Trent and you've got Salah and you've got Haaland, well, Pedro Porro is very hard to afford. And we didn't mention him at all in the Man City game, but Rico Lewis was so unbelievable. We literally just talked about Haaland, didn't we?
Yeah, we literally just spoke about Haaland for 10, 15 minutes.
Rico Lewis was so good. And he's doing stuff that Kyle Walker can never do in positions you get to. Like, he is first man on your wild card. If you put him in 4.5, Rico Lewis, get him in. And if you've got Robertson and Trent, then it's Robertson, Trent, Rico Lewis. Thanks very much. Done.
Yeah, true.
And that's, one of the easiest ways to save the money. But yeah, he has to play. Tottenham, move on.
Arsenal 1, Brighton 1. Start there. Do you want to start with it? I mean, I was arguing this with people in Discord. It was a fun chat. I think you were on the golf course at the time, but what's your take on it?
So when the initial João Pedro thing happened, I was furious that it wasn't booked, mainly because I don't own João Pedro. But I was like, I don't understand. There has been a lot of stuff out there that they're supposed to have cracked down on this and stuff. So when he did it, you were like, well, why wouldn't you book him here? You know, but when you then take the combination of Rice, there's just so much arrogance from Rice, like in this, that I feel really annoyed about from Declan Rice, because as much as he's an Arsenal player, he's also an England player, and he's you know, a really prominent England player, and all seems really nice as well. But the diving in on that first challenge was horrendous. Like, it was he was never getting the ball. He knew exactly what he was doing, and it was right in front of the ref, and it was only ever going to result in what it was. The best case situation was a yellow card. The worst case situation was a red card. But he knew exactly, and I was like, that's a dickhead challenge. Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's an orange challenge. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the intent of what you're doing, you're leaping off the ground into something. It's just crappy. But from an attitude perspective, you're like, once you've done it, consider yourself lucky that that wasn't worse and you ended up red.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'd argue, you know when Madison
But it's
sides
at
down,
least a yellow, isn't it?
yeah,
It's a yellow.
It's a guaranteed yellow. Like, what? Not even.
And once you've done a yellow, don't you then? If I'm any player, so when Madison done that yellow, what did you think about Madison? You were like,
just
get him off the
don't
pitch.
do stupid shit. Yeah.
Don't do stupid shit. Get him off the pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
But his arrogance to be able to go, do you know what? I can still be a dickhead in the corner.
Yeah.
Because what I love is that Veltman's tried to do him, because Veltman's tried to kick the ball at him, hasn't he?
Yes. So this is so right. So people in the Discord
Veltman's
know
trying
I've
to
already
kick the
said
ball
this.
at him, and if the ball hits him, he gets the yellow card and off he goes.
Precise. So this is exactly it. And this is what I said in the Discord, and I'll say it again for everyone now: is that when you're growing up as a kid, you get taught two things from free kicks. If you give away the free kick, you stand in front of the ball so they can't take the quick free kick.
Yeah.
You know, at kids level, you don't get booked for that shit. But as soon as you get to adult level, then you start getting booked. But you risk it. But you risk it sometimes, and you just do it. Second thing, if you're the one that's got the free kick and the guy's not moving away quick enough, you kick it at him.
It at his shins.
You just kick it at him.
You kick it as hard as you can.
Yeah, you just smack it at him. You want to hurt him, and you want to give him a little bruise or something, and you want to get him booked. Like Declan, like Veltman knows that Declan's on a yellow card.
Veltman actually said it. I was trying to kick it at him. Literally said it. I was like,
of course.
I was trying to kick it at him, and he's kicked the ball out of the way, so I've kicked him.
I kicked him. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. This is it. So, like, anyone that says that Declan didn't move the ball, didn't kick the ball, the argument of whether Rice should be booked for kicking the ball away in that situation is, to be honest, it depends on how you feel about this kicking the ball away situation, because it has got to the point where it's a bit silly. And I agree with that. But at the same time, the players know that the refs are doing this, right? So why would you actually do it? It's stupidity.
And there's separation though, right? So if I was an Arsenal fan, I'm not an Arsenal fan, obviously, but if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be furious with Rice. I would be furious with him. And I'm not seeing anyone furious with Rice. I'd be furious with Rice. What I would be furious with the ref about, João Pedro was so good at pressing. It's his number one thing that he's really good at. He winds people up. He presses. He's horrible. We've said it many, many times. If João Pedro gets the booking early on in the game, that's taking away a big weapon from João Pedro. Like, he can't press as hard. He can't do all that stuff. The thing you should be annoyed at, you should be annoyed that João Pedro didn't get booked, because actually the rest of the game might have changed if João Pedro got booked.
But that's not
what... You should also be annoyed at Rice. You should be annoyed at Rice.
But that's not what we're seeing. Even Saka said it after the game, right? Saka came out after the game and said, we want consistency. Which for him and for every other Arsenal fan saying it just meant they'd rather the ref get two wrong decisions rather than two correct ones, or one.
But they were also appealing for Pedro to get booked.
Well, this is it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Both should be booked. See you later.
So do we take anything
back to the game?
Back to the game.
So, like, they're still doing this, Arsenal, where it's... I had two big takes from Arsenal, and this is pre pre any of the red card situation is that firstly, everything continues to go through Saka. Everything. He could. I genuinely wouldn't. Any game where it's definitely a favourable matchup, I'm shocked when he doesn't double digit.
Mm.
He's the best player on their pitch. He's everything about it. Everything goes through them. It's the Saka show. He was literally skinning for fun, and yeah, Hinchcliffe will have nightmares for a long time about how that first half went. It was great, and the person he combines with best is Havertz. They are so good. So those upcoming games, the 6 and 7. God, if you've
Leicester,
got Havertz
Southampton, Bournemouth.
Yeah. If you've got Havertz and Saka, it's just huge. It's just huge because they're so good. Other takes is, for the second week running, Gabriel is comfortably, not just a little bit, comfortably out baseline Saliba. 17-11. That's a fair old chunk of change between those two this week.
Is that pre or post the -4?
Post.
Okay. I mean, not that it really matters because
yeah. So there, and then Pedro, it just got it, Pedro. Like I say, I feel like he's not very nice, but
you said it. You said it. You said last week. He's just one of those players that you hate when he's not on your team. He's like
Suarez. I honestly, more and more Suarez. I've got so much in him, like in that player, that he knows he's good. He really knows it. And I genuinely only see him scoring more goals. Like, he's still really young. He's bigger than most people think he is as well.
What is he like? 22?
23. I want to say 23.
Has he got to 23?
He might have been 23.
I feel like he's been around for like 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Least. I mean, we all remember the Watford days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it really difficult to move on from João Pedro. I think he's a lock in the wild card.
It's a lock and play.
It's very easy. It's 22. Yeah, 22.
22 still.
Yeah. Oh, he'd be 20. Yeah, he's 23 in about 3 weeks. So
it's 22, 23.
That's very true. Is there anything else really we can take from this? Just because obviously, standard red card changes everything. Because Arsenal defense, you spoke about, you're saying Havertz and Saka, but the red card doesn't happen, and it's feasible that Brighton don't get above 0.3 xG here.
Yeah.
So it's what do you do with the double Arsenal defense? Is it still really and Newcastle did basically nothing. Arsenal are good at starving the game if they need to. I mean, I do think Tottenham will score next week. I really obviously want Tottenham to score next week, but
it's just those next two, isn't it? It's just those next two. It's difficult. It's really difficult.
Yeah, for me, it's whether a wild card or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you don't wild card, you keep them.
Well, yeah.
If you don't wild card, you keep them. And they're never going to be the priority to sell because everyone's going to want them in 6 and 7. But if you wild card, yeah, or you can stash. I still wonder whether we said last week, and everyone moaned at us because we said that Raya's a bad pick on wild card. But I don't know. I still don't know. I still look at everybody else that you put in and you think, I don't like it.
Mate, one team cleaned this weekend. One team. So, it doesn't matter whether you spend 6 million or 4 million. The only person that got 6 points or more in goal was Alisson. That was it. It's the only one.
Yep.
And guess what? He's 5.5 million. So, premium keepers, premium defenses, they do well.
Premium for a reason.
They do well. Right, let's move on. We've got a few games to cover. We're halfway through. But
Wow.
Can wrap up these ones as quickly as possible, just because of timing and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go to this. I've been told. Hold on. Sorry. I've been told I have to do this. Hold on. Just have to. How do I do it? To stop it like
Just
there or something?
something like that.
Something like that.
Look at them. Everton's so dominant. If you just cut out the last few minutes.
I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start with this game.
It's
I don't think there's anything.
in danger of getting really toxic in it, though. It's in danger of getting really, really toxic.
I mean, I literally said the words in Discord. I literally said the words "Everton are cooking" at like 60 minutes.
Mm.
I mean, when Michael Keane props up at 50 minutes and puts you ahead, and things might start going correctly, you'd think. I don't get what goes through the head, the mentality of like that 85th minute meltdown. I just don't get it.
Well, it's not for us to get, is it? Like we're not playing in front of this team, you know, and these fans, you know, is I do think this is, you know, a combination of I think Bournemouth will try and give everybody a game and we'll keep going. You know, Tavernier and Semenyo, again, 5 shots each again. 5 shots each in game week 1, 5 shots each in game week 3. So we are now in a position that 17 shots for Semenyo this season, the most shots in the league of all players. 3 games in.
Is that right?
Yep. That's right.
Jesus. That's mad.
He's had absurd amount of penalty box touches. I think only Saka's had more penalty box touches than him. He's 5.5. He hasn't had a rise.
They didn't sign it. They didn't sign a replacement.
Oh, they did. They got Evan Nilsson.
Oh, they got Evan Nilsson.
But he still played with him.
Started.
He still got 5 shots.
Yeah, he started with him.
From, I think, about game week 10, he'll be in everybody's team. Again, if I was wildcarding tomorrow, I would just Semenyo would be straight in. That wouldn't be a consideration for my
just falling into the midfielder pool, just like adding to that midfielder pool.
Yeah, without a consideration, because he's comfortably the best 5.5 in this game. Nobody's in the league in terms of where they should be. Like he's just get him in. He's got He's playing for Bournemouth. Everyone's moaned about the fixtures for Bournemouth. And he's got 19 points in his first 3 games. He's just really good. Plays 90 minutes. He's played 90 minutes in every game. He's returned in every single game. He's had 5 shots a game.
It's quite good.
What on earth could you want from a 5.5 million midfielder? From, you know, Forest away, Everton away, Newcastle at home.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I mean, we've all talked about Minter and Smith Rowe. I mean, Smith Rowe's getting no shots.
But in Southampton, he's got Southampton at home in 6, and he's got Leicester away in 7. You're telling me that anybody that wildcards in 6 isn't having Semenyo in their team? They're having Semenyo in their team,
and then you could just bench him for 2.
Bench him
weeks.
for 8, 9, 10 for the Arsenal, Villa, Man City, and then you're back into a stretch of Brentford, Brighton, Wolves, Spurs at home, Ipswich away. Like, goes on and on that. West Ham at home, Man United away, Palace at home, Fulham away, Everton at home.
We're going to run out of players soon. We're going to run out of spots. 5.5.
Leave him as your 5th midfielder. If you want to try and get all the big boys in, 4.5 million striker, £5.5 million João Pedro, and £5.5 million Semenyo, and then 4.
Sack off Morgan Rogers already.
Sack him off.
Sack him off.
It's worth the extra $500,000.
Yeah.
Especially if you haven't got Morgan Rogers. If you say it's 0.4 million, it's not even in the equation. If you haven't got him, 0.4 million more, I can have the person who's had the most shots in the league. Yeah, I like that, thanks.
Fair enough.
Just get him.
Is there anything else to add? Is there anything on here on Everton? Targetable? Just targetable?
No, just how more toxic can it get and weird is it going to get from like lose their first three? It's problems.
Is there not a world where? Well, I suppose no. Pickford's now 5, isn't he? If he was 4-5, maybe. Because their fixtures get better. I mean, I know this was supposed to be one of them, but yeah, Leicester, Palace, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton in the next 6 games, 6-7 games.
Yeah.
Like good fixtures, really good fixtures. Gonna need points.
Probably won't get them.
No, probably won't get them.
Probably won't get them though, will they? Just leave them. We got, like you said, we are so tight in the number of players we can get. This is not a team you need to muck around with.
Fair enough. Let's move on to Leicester versus Villa. And I did watch bits of this game. I was interested just because I was, spoke about Thursday about whether I was going to have justification for making that Morgan Rogers Watkins double move. I was so excited to do. Not so excited now. Because people are saying, like, is Onana now the enabler? 3 shots, 0.47 XG, total scores again. Morgan Rogers. So, I watched the first half of this game quite a lot, quite a bit of the first half, and yeah, Villa did look good for that 15-minute stretch, and they looked good, and Watkins had a couple of decent chances, and then it just all sort of went. I mean, this is really clear. It's really difficult to say it without making it look like I'm just looking at the XG plot here, but it just literally went flat, and they just didn't do anything after that. Watkins gets hauled again after 60, and he's still questioning his fitness. But in my mind, I'm also saying he's got 2 weeks off now, or does he? Is he with the England squad?
I'm assuming he's gone with the England squad.
I guess he's with the England squad, which is completely ridiculous. Emery should be on the phone and be like, "Look, he's fucking knackered. Like he's still knackered. Like, can you please, for this nonsense Nations League that no one cares about, can you just give him 2 weeks off, please, so that I can get him up to fitness, and then guess what? You can have him next time round, because he's not ready for Champions League. I suppose, literally,
it gets worse, doesn't it? It gets worse for him, really, once he starts to have more games.
What, 2 games a week? Like he can hardly match in 60 minutes a week right now.
I don't like it. I'm fully spooked off on that.
I don't like that long term at all.
I'd genuinely be more tempted to, if I've got Isak and
you just stick with him
and just stick with Isak.
Your Wolves next week.
Yeah.
Wolves, Fulham, City, whatever, fine. Everton, Brighton. Everton in the any team with Everton in the next 5 fixtures, you can be safe with your asset. Right, so obviously Duran comes in, scores, looks all right. Leicester just looked. It's all just a bit crap. The game was just crap, to be honest. This pretty much shows it. This pretty much shows it.
If you were looking for, if you could just about get enough money on your third forward, I don't mind Vardy at 5.5. The fact that he managed 90, the fact that he's still there, he's around, I don't hate it as much as I should. I can see why people might do it. There are some fixtures which tie in unbelievably, like this fixture run that's starting to come from. So Everton at home in 5. Yeah, you've got obviously Semenyo, which is sort of had a bigger fixture in 6, but Bournemouth home at 7, Southampton away in 8, Forest at home at 8 in 9, Ipswich away in 10. Yeah, then you've got Man United, Chelsea, Brentford away, but you'd probably leave them in that, but they're still all right. Brentford at home, Brentford away, so West Ham at home, Brighton at home, Newcastle away, Wolves at home, and then it gets crappy about game week 18. They've got a really horrendous run, but they've now got about a 10-15 match run. So I do see a way that you go Haaland, Pedro, Vardy. If you think, right, I need a bit of depth, I'm not that kind of guy. I think of Vardy and Semenyo and Pedro, because Pedro's fixtures, got to think as well, Pedro's fixtures do get worse after the next few weeks.
Yeah, after pretty much after 5, to be honest.
Like a 2 from 3. A 2 from 3 policy with those is doable.
Yeah.
It is doable. It's just hard.
How do you bank on a 37-year-old's legs? Like how do you do it? Because like in 2 weeks' time, Calf will go, and that'll be it. Like he's obviously going to be on penalties, obviously.
But he's the cheap. It's the cheap. 5.5. Like you can't do Armstrong now, can you? So who else have you got at the 5.5? They go straight to 6. I'm telling you, 6. All of it gets dicey around the monies. I've looked around on some of the prices, especially if you've got Haaland at 15. If you want Haaland, you are going to have to find some nuggets that you want to play regularly. And I think the only way you can potentially do it is like 3 5.5s and play 2 of them.
Ugh.
It's
as weird as I say, that sounds horrible. But
there's some really educated people that are really good at FPL that don't have Haaland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very good. Moving on to Chelsea. We've got 3 games left. Chelsea Palace. Then we go Ipswich Fulham and finish with Forest versus Wolves. Yeah. Palmer assist, Jackson goal. Probably should have been more. Again, this is going into this good run of fixtures. Palace worry me a little bit. They really worry me. And I know Eze gets the goal. Great finish. Great finish. Great finish. Are you hot on Eze for a transfer in or for wildcard?
Oh, if I was on wildcard, I definitely would like it because, hey, at sub 7 million, because he's 6.9 right now, he's fantastic. Fantastic value.
I should have been writing down all these midfielders that you've got in your team, by the way.
Oh, there's hundreds.
You got about 8 of them at the moment, I think.
Hundreds.
That are locked.
Locked.
8 locked in. Love it.
Yeah. Have them all. But yeah, no. It's great. But we know that he's a special player, delivers at special times. And he can also just not. It doesn't surprise me that he scores today with a 0.04 XG in a game where they only created less than 0.5. And then also doesn't surprise me that he didn't score when he had 7 shots when Crystal Palace were chasing the game the other week.
Yeah.
Like those things don't surprise me because he's a talisman who's trying to do the good things for his team and therefore will likely score points. The bits that would worry me, obviously the defence worries. Mateta worries. They've got Nketiah. We don't know what happens there.
Yeah.
We still lost Elise. That's not as good. I don't know what's going on with the central midfielders and when they're going to play them, who they're going to play. And if Hughes had got sent off for that second booking, which he should have, then this is probably 5 or 6-0. And we're all ripping our teams up to make sure that Palmer's in our team.
Yeah.
Because it definitely could have been that way.
Do we have any love for any Chelsea defenders at all?
No.
Not even Gusto? No?
No.
Not even fancying that?
Feeling his hamstrings or whatever it is again, muscle problem, I think Maresca said at the end of the game.
Yeah, true.
No. We're so limited in who we can have in defence anyway.
So let's say we
have Gusto over. Gusto over Anthony Robinson.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Gusto over Rico Lewis.
No.
Then it's done.
Cool. So we talk. So without Haaland, is Jackson an option now?
Yeah,
because
he will. He's on a 9-year contract, mate. 9 years.
Another 1.34 XG from 4 shots.
Yes.
He just taps one in on the line.
I think we all straight away looked away at Madueke. And Madueke could have had a hatful again today. But Jackson's definitely playing every week.
Yeah.
Jackson and Palmer sitting there with 9-year contracts. Yes. I saw someone say on Twitter, like, could Jackson cover Palmer? No, because you want both. They're your stack. They're your stack. Get them both.
One comes with the other.
Yeah.
But if you can't get to Palmer, like that's what they're saying, obviously. You can't make. So hold on. So you've added Palmer in now. That's 9.
Oh yeah, he's in.
Cool.
And Jackson, yeah, why
Jackson,
not?
why not? Jackson, Pedro, Semenyo, and not Pedro.
This is why I don't want to press the button.
Pedro, Vardy,
there's so many
and
players
Haaland.
that I want.
Just so many,
and none of them are players that I own.
Oh, this game.
Yeah, right. No, I like the Jackson Palmer. I like the Jackson Palmer double up. If I was on like a non-Haaland draft, very difficult suddenly if you're not in that space.
Yeah. Okay. Do you still go cheap? Or do you go then Havertz, or do you have to carry Isak with you, or Watkins?
Oh.
I mean, that's it. That's a tough one.
I'm not sure what the right answer is there.
Right, a couple more because we're just adding another.
If you had to bet total XG coming into the season on Kai Havertz or Nico Jackson, where would you go?
Nico would smash it to pieces. Like Nico just sucks in chances. He does,
which he never was. We should remember that. Remember we used to call him raw, and then we started saying, well, maybe raw just means not very good. Yeah. But he was really, really young in his first season, and historically, prior to coming to Chelsea, his shot volumes were not very good.
Yeah,
like he was more of a like link up type passer, not really a number 9. He really did look like a number 9. And it has looked like a number 9 in every game I've seen him. It seems very odd the amount of interest they've had in trying to sign a 9 when it looks like he really is one.
It's actually being coached properly, maybe.
Well, what, in the last 2 days? Because they were still trying 2 days ago.
Well, this is true.
But yeah, it is. He is definitely interesting.
I would just get over frustrated having him there.
Yeah, of course.
It's like it will still look like a B-Tech version of Darwin Núñez, because he'll just have less chances than Núñez was getting before. I mean, they might do in this run. You know, there's going to be a lot of chances. So Chelsea have Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton, and Forest in the next 4. Look really, really good. Gets a bit crappy after that for 4 games.
Yeah. And if you've invested a lot of money, 17, 18 million in the pair of them,
I mean,
stink up real quick. Palmer just involved in everything, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's ways out, and there's ways out. I mean, like Palmer to Foden in 8 feels okay, for example, because City's run from there is pretty stupid, to be honest. But then they're City, so.
I just saw in chat Vamos Villa said something, which is the bit. If there was anything that would put me off Nico more than anything else, is that he always gets the obligatory booking. It's so irritating. It would be as well. Oh yeah, just got booked to see.
Yeah, playing after the whistle.
Stupid.
Forgot to mention, it was on earlier. It was a super chat earlier from Bateman. So FPL Bateman, he gave us a fiver. He said, "My wife asked me what the hell you guys were on about. I have no idea. I thought I'd read it out because he said
we rarely do have an idea, to be fair.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. Are we on your TV? Is this the problem? Sitting down with a wife on a Sunday evening, watching me and you.
What a world.
Hello, Mrs. Bateman.
Hello, Mrs. Bateman.
Right, let's move on. Last 2 games. Let's get these done with. So, moving into your midfield is Adama or Leif Davis.
Hey, I said
The Leaf Davis assist really pisses me off.
I reckon I got them all. Oh no, Paro I didn't get right because he only got 1 point in the end, but at least it was fun. But I got most of them right that I said I'd play over Konza in the week, including Leaf Davis. I mean, he can break, he can play, but
yeah, he looked good, and he's quick at getting the ball forward, and then he gets a 5-yard assist, and I'm just like, oh, that just annoys me. Just annoys me. I guess it just annoys me because I don't own him, and I have no intention of owning him. Mainly because I just don't want to. Trying to avoid players from promoted sides this season if I can.
If we can,
but it's a great finish.
Anthony was great again.
Yeah. Him and Iwobi on that left hand side really, really strong together. Like their partnership they've built up, understanding very, very good. Gets the assist.
And
what more can you ask?
He just doesn't bother fancying getting points.
No, just keep swerving him. But he didn't. He only had 2 shots. I know that. Is that enough?
Yeah, it's okay.
He has one big chance.
He's consistently having more shots and in better areas and more touches in the penalty area and all those things than João Pedro. So if you want to just go stats based, you'd say it's fine. But the difference is you expect Muniz to miss them and you expect Pedro to score them. And that's the difference. Like the brilliant cross. Header is perfect for him. He loves heading the ball. And he does all the textbook stuff. He's all like, I'm going to head that down. You know what I mean? He feels like such a confidence player. At some point, if he just scored one of those chances in game week 1, he'd probably have 6-7 goals. He feels like a full confident striker, and it's not going in. And then the other bad thing about Muniz is that, similar to Jota, he comes off with 10 minutes to go. If you catch Jota, if you catch Muniz on a hot streak, they'll be absolute gold.
Yeah,
chances are the second you sell them, it'll be hot streak time.
Yeah, I mean the only time. So he scored 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. He scored 8 goals in 7 games last year.
Yes.
He scored 8 goals. He scored 8 goals in 7 games. Then he scored 1 against Palace a few games later, and then all the other games were nothing, like literally nothing. No goals, no assists. So
he's not hot. He's
pure
not hot.
streak.
Yeah,
pure streak. So if you can get him on the streak,
his movement's great. And he puts him. He just literally is everything you want from a number 9.
Yeah.
In the box, he's doing the stuff. He's attacking it. He gets great shot volume. He gets great on headers. All that stuff works, but he has to be hot. He ain't hot. He ain't hot. He's not. I don't think he's a problem. But you will not want to be going in with Muniz if you can, and you could have Pedro. Like I'm if I don't wildcard, I'm going into game week 4 with Muniz, and I'll be thinking, oh my God, what's Pedro going to do to me? And that's the problem.
I mean, I went into this week without either of them, and I wasn't particularly bothered. But yeah, okay.
They're still strikers that can score goals, and if they do, they almost certainly get bonus at the moment.
Yeah, it's very true. They do.
That's what's happening. Like the last one we got.
There he is.
There he is.
There he is. Nope. He gets like 2 chances. How many shots did he have? Couple. Well, he had 5, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
He got involved.
He's there to have headers, stand in the box,
and score goals.
Win headers on the halfway line.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
That's what he does.
He'll get the odd tap in, he'll do the stuff. And he's been pretty hot for quite a while.
Yeah. As I say, he's one that I just feel like I've just missed.
I think we all like Taiwo. I think that's the problem. For those that didn't, it was all like, we like Taiwo. I'm expecting Taiwo to start taking minutes off him. When Taiwo took that penalty in the Carabao and he skied it over, I was like, yeah, Taiwo's not on it, mate. Like, he's not on it. And Wood is. And Nuno is very, very loyal. He's kind of treating him like Jiminy. Like when Jimenez was set and forget, 5, 6, 7 million quid, whatever he was.
Yeah, because he used to pull Jota off every game. Just never used to bother leave Jim going.
Just leave him going, and that's kind of Nuno's man, and Woods' his man, and it works. It tucks it. Would I be tempted to go Wood as that third striker in that one we talked about?
Is he up now? Is he up 6-1 now? He must be.
Probably.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's up at 6-1. Wisser's up at 6-1.
I don't see myself owning it. But we probably should do. I mean, Harry owns him, and he's God in this game.
If Harry owns him, then we probably should. But they've got Liverpool and Chelsea in the next 4. Brighton, Fulham, Palace, Leicester, West Ham, though. In and amongst it, their runs are very much like Spurs in the sense that they're not a club that has a particularly it was those first 3 games. Like those first 3 games, then they get a little awkward one in there. Like there are other teams that have got better runs and then just have really stinky runs. So, like even if you use Ipswich as an example, so they have Brighton, Southampton, West Ham, Everton, Brentford, Leicester in their next 7. They've got Villa at home is the other one. Villa don't look fantastic. That's going to be start of the Champions League for Villa as well. So, like as a run of 7 games, that's really, really, really good. Forest don't have a run like that.
No,
don't have a run like that.
The real big positives for Wood is that he plays in a team that doesn't score a lot of goals. So if he scores, he almost certainly gets bonus.
Yeah,
and he plays in a team that probably will concede in most games
because they've got shit keepers.
Because they've got 17 shit keepers.
I stand by. Again, I stand by. I think Big Carlos would have saved that one.
Maybe. He'll probably get a go at some point. So
we'll never know. But
we'll never know. But yeah, he scored one and one disallowed. There was a weird penalty thing, which probably would have been a penalty last season, which was odd. Like that one is actually quite odd, I think, the penalty appeal. So the cross comes over, it hits. Who was it hit? I can't remember who it was hit for Wolves, but obviously he's got his arm out holding Wood, and it hits his arm. Well, his arm's away from the body,
and he's holding somebody else. That's not
it's like
it's about natural positions and stuff like that.
That what they're saying is a natural position to be holding someone.
Yeah,
it's not really like it. He's but just misjudged the ball and it's hit his arm. I'd have no issue with it if they'd have given that as a penalty.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, not picking teams personally.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And we're done, mate.
We're done. So we've got 2 weeks off.
2 weeks off, yes. And this week we will be speaking to Andy from Let's Talk FPL.
Let's have some wildcard chat.
We'll talk about wildcard. And
how close do you think you are to pressing the button?
I think I'm pretty close, to be fair.
Ooh, that sounds pretty close.
I think I'm pretty close.
If we had to give it like 80-20, 90-10?
Yeah, 80. Maybe 75.
Because that's one of the things is there's quite a lot of price changes.
Yeah, and I feel like I've missed out on stuff already. Obviously, I've lost money on Bruno. I am literally hanging on by a thread with Solanke. Like as soon as he's released back into the wild, his price will just plummet. And I don't know. I guess last week I sat here and said if I have a bad week next week, it'll be okay because I had this really good week. I'm now sitting here like, I had a bad week. Maybe I should just wildcard. I am in that kind of world because I have players that I don't really want. And that's normally a good place to start thinking about wildcard, to be fair. I know these fixtures. The fixtures are changing, obviously for Liverpool. Have I got the right ones? I mean, maybe it could be that I could just do a Gabriel to Robertson and just go, okay, I'll just do that, and maybe I'll just. I don't know what else I would do, to be honest. I think Gordon I don't want long term. In fact, I don't want him. Full stop. Don't particularly want Smith Rowe anymore because he just doesn't get involved enough. I know he had a shot or two this week, but yeah, who else do I have in midfield? It's more the players that I don't have in midfield. It is the Saka, Salah, Palmer, Bruno. That's the thing. Bruno's such a pain in the arse though, again, because of that Southampton fixture. But I know that I'm not going to want him at Selhurst Park. I'm not going to want him against Spurs, and I'm not really going to want him against Villa. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
where are you?
2 weeks to think about it.
Where are you?
No, I've said I've made a Saka to Salah move.
Yeah.
My team. If I look at my team now, I'm not comfortable that I would have Saka and Salah on wildcard. I'm not comfortable. I think that, as I said, Saka and Salah people have clearly won the first 3 weeks. Sorry, Salah and Haaland people have won the first 3 weeks. Clearly. I really like Saka back from 6. And I'm not sure. There's no way in which you have a world where it's like Salah and Haaland, and I'm like, I don't see myself. If you wildcarded now and said, "Oh, what I'll do is I'll get Saka back in 6," you're like, "What? You can take Mo out for away Wolves?"
Yeah.
Not doing that. Not doing that. So, I think I'd like to try and buy myself one more week. The big problem I've got is that I'd be playing Porro and Gabriel, and I don't have Trent. Big problem is that I'd be playing Muniz at home to West Ham, and I wouldn't have Pedro. But hey, that's the problems. The positives is that variance can land your way, can happen. If Fulham, destroyed West Ham and I've got Anthony and Muniz starting, great. If Jota and Salah have a field day, great. If Gordon and Isak have a good day against Wolves, great.
Yeah.
All of those things can happen. My team looks fine if I pretend that certain players don't exist. And I think, but that's it. We every single week we're going to have to pretend some people don't exist. We've just had to go through the last 3 weeks pretending that Salah doesn't exist while he's effectively scored 10 points against us. You've had to effectively pretend that Saka doesn't exist for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had to pretend that Isak didn't exist for the last 3 weeks.
This is true.
I've been, trying to pretend that Eze didn't exist, but and Palmer doesn't exist, and Watkins doesn't exist. Like, we can't literally have them all. There's more, as you've said, as I've been ticking off names. There's too many good players here.
Yeah.
So even if you wildcard, you don't get everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me, I will wait 1 week, albeit if I even had one injury,
done.
I'll wildcard in a heartbeat. Because my bench is non-existent. I was talking to our friend JC Spaceman about my team, and he just looked at my bench. He was like, "Paul Johnson and Sangare on the bench." I was like, "Yeah, I know. Sorry." Well, sorry.
Yeah. I've seen a few benches, like people like rocking up with like Ipswich defenders and stuff like that as a 4 point. I've seen people still with like Kwanzaa and Barco and stuff, and it's at that point I'm like, well, yeah, the wild card feels good now. Just get it moving.
I don't think this is the time, to be going in with the crappy bench and stuff. So if everything plays out perfectly, fine. Other than that, like, I'll probably have to wait, which means if I did end up later wildcarding, I'm going to lose out on all the value.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Let's just do some quick fire questions from the Discord before we disappear, because there were a few earlier. So,
hold on.
Go on.
Kyle Minshaw says, quickly wish my girlfriend Danny a happy birthday, please. Happy birthday, Danny.
Happy birthday, Danny. Not singing, but happy birthday.
That'll do.
There we go. Question say, is Odebear an option when our fixtures turn?
No, absolutely not.
Cool. Brian says a Haaland Salah team is 100% necessary. Changed my mind. I mean, it's very difficult to. I don't think it's 100% necessary, but it's very difficult to say that a team that has the two best players in the league in it is bad. There is, there's plenty of cheapies around to help you out.
It's pretty good. We will definitely be able to say that having it is pretty good.
Is Onana a good enabler? I think you'd probably just go up, would you not, to the 5/5s?
Yeah, it's not for me.
Gordon to Eze, especially if you have Isak. Yeah, I would just do it.
Yeah.
Would you have Muniz or Smith Rowe? I'd probably have Muniz now, I think.
Yep.
If given the choice between the two.
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody replied saying neither to Muniz or Smith Rowe in the chat, in the Discord. So, okay, put it this way. Muniz plus Mitoma or Smith Rowe plus João Pedro?
Muniz and Matoma or Smith Rowe and João Pedro?
Yeah.
Well, Smith Rowe and João Pedro is cheaper anyway. So
it's miles cheaper. It's like 11 million instead of 13.
Yeah.
Or 12 and a bit. 12.6. And Sam says Minter and Semenyo instead. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So
you won't be surprised at this, but whilst we go on the question, I just checked the top 20 in the world. How many of the top 20 in the world have Haaland and Salah?
All of them?
All of them.
So
well done, boys. Well done. Sleep well if you've got both.
I haven't even
absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, I didn't even. We didn't even cover the fact that I could have had Havertz and Bumo this week. Shoulda, woulda, coulda type vibes. We were even talking about it last week.
I know.
A week ago.
I know.
Gutting. But I wanted that extra free transfer. I'm so happy with it.
I have a little league. I just seen Rockstars in the chat. I have a little league with Rockstar, our friends Korf, Andy Mode, and Flapjack, and me. Just the five of us. And Rocky always smashes it. And I hadn't had the greatest few weeks, but hey, he's got Mo and Haaland, so just the odd 90 odd points this week. Ugh.
Just feel like getting punched in the face.
Ugh. I said, yeah, well done, Rocky, great week. But if you write it, you can't see the gritted teeth when you write it.
Yeah, with the meme face on the front, you're angry behind with the smiley face on the front. Somebody said earlier, by the way, I didn't want to let this go before the end of the pod, but have you been doing NFL draft picks while we've been podding?
In 2 different drafts.
Incredible. Incredible.
Well, you might have seen, if anyone was in the live chat, FPL Finn's been sending like an American football as we went. I've only had to do like 3 picks, but one of the drafts is right at the end. So it's nonsense. But what's even funnier is in one of the drafts, I've just done a trade while spotting. That's impressive.
That's good work. Let's leave it there, mate, and we'll come back on Wednesday/Thursday. Yeah. I think that's going to be a recorded rather than a live, but we'll see how we make that work, because that's going to be Wednesday afternoon. We'll record, so I think we'll release it Wednesday evening. That'd be good. Well done to everyone who had good weeks. Unfortunately, that wasn't me, but it is what it is. Sometimes we have ups, sometimes we have downs. I'm used to the downs, so it's not really a huge deal at this point. And thank you to those that have joined us in the stream tonight. There's been over 550 at peak, which is absolutely nuts. If you want to leave a like on the stream before you leave, that'd be wonderful. We're just about wrapped up here. But yeah, hopefully you all had a good game week, and I guess we will see you next time.
See you in a few days, mate.
Cheers, mate.